Hi, my name's Emily.
And my name's Holly.
And we're going to speak about motivation today and the lack of it we have.
So we know that motivation is a massive problem between S4 and S6 now because we've not had any exams and it's everybody's first time sitting them.
I think everybody feels the pressure a bit more because it's the first time we're sitting a proper actual exam, but the pressure can also cause us to not be motivated as much.
Shut down a bit, I know I definitely have experienced it over the past couple of months. I know you have as well. Just hope everybody understands that we're going through it as well.
As well, especially because it is everybody's first exams. I think that's what's the important thing, is that we're not alone. We're 6 year, but we've not sat an exam like the fourth years. We're sitting them for the first time as well. So
we're going through it.
We're all in it together. But it's just the motivation, especially I think as well because of lockdowns and COVID. I think before I used to be great at revising, even you would know, I would always revise and everything, but just now it's the motivation. I think everybody's has dropped massively.
Agreed. Today we've got Brian with us to help us talk about how to improve our motivation. Hi Brian.
Hello there ladies. That's a great intro, and I imagine that almost everybody in your year is feeling, do you think, this lack of motivation? Is this a thing? You're in the school, you're with them. Is this a thing that everybody in the year is feeling, do you think?
Definitely. I mean personally for me, I'm obviously taking higher art and higher chemistry. And my motivation for art, because I know that it's not a priority, it's not really there. I know I've had my deadline to get my hat done. I've been pushed forward because I just don't have the motivation to get it done.
This hat sounds as if it's giving you a severe amount of stress. And so what's happening in your head then? So when it comes to chemistry versus the hat, is this like a fight inside your head between these two things?
Yeah, because I know that I'm taking both the subjects and they're just as important as each other, but they're not really, because I know that I need chemistry for university. So my motivation is towards chemistry because I know that I need to spend more time on that. And that's what I think I should be spending more time on.
It's a really important point though, because I think one of the things that our mind needs to be able to motivate itself is that it needs a why. So what I mean by that is that it needs a reason for doing it, and the bigger the why is, then the more motivation that we'll feel for it, because our mind will go, well, there's a reason for me going from here to here. So that doesn't sound that surprising to me. I know in the next video we're going to talk about making good decisions a little bit more, which might be a thing, and I think we're going to do a whole video on that just in itself. But I think first of all, it sounds as if you're giving yourself a bit of a hard time there when, because what you said was, I know they're equally important, but then what you said was, well, they're not really as equally important in terms of your future, and we have to think long term. And with all due respect to art, you want to do well in your art. You don't want to just fail an exam or put in some sort of half attempt at something. So it is important, but if I was to give you a tip, and anybody else that's experiencing this, I think in 4th, 5th or 6th year, is that it is just true that some things are more important than others, and therefore you'll feel where that motivation is. And when it comes to it though, because obviously that's causing you stress, are you ending up in that horrible place when you're studying as well? This might be for both of you as well. You think of the hat, Emily, or whatever it is, and then is it then just this? Is it like distract yourself? Because that's a very, very common tactic that people fall into.
Definitely. I know when I'm sitting down, I'm like, okay, I'm in the mood to study, and then my phone's sitting there, and I pick up my phone and I find myself on TikTok for the next 2 hours, and I'm like, oh, that's just a waste of my time. But I physically couldn't get myself to get into the motivation to write something down or remember something, revise it, because my phone was sitting there and people were texting me, or I was getting into another loop, and it was like so much time later and I was back on my phone instead of doing revision.
It's interesting that you even call it a loop. So what do you mean by a loop? It's just constantly just boom, just one after the other. And that's the thing, isn't it, about social media and our phones? I know I can fall into that as well. I've got to admit I don't have TikTok yet enough, despite my daughters trying to push me to have it, but I don't have it. But it is that thing of just one link after the other. I was speaking to a young person yesterday. They're only 16, and they just said, I'm bored with everything because all I do is I go on my phone and I'm just on my phone all the time.
Find it hard to pull away?
Yeah.
So it's like you're sitting there and you're like, oh, just one more, and then you're like, oh, and there's no point going back to it now. Or,
I know we chatted about this earlier, but I think this is another video. I mean, there's a thing, we're getting very deep here, but there's a thing called persuasive design. And persuasive design is how they design TikTok and Insta. TikTok is actually one of the models of persuasive design, which is they act like a drug. So the reasons the videos are so short is to give you that little dopamine rush. So you end up actually, you really truly are addicted. If I were to give one tip, you know, because obviously, you know, we want to make sure these videos are short so that people will watch them. I think for anybody watching this, my tip for you is switch off your notifications. I know it's easy to say, I'll put my phone in another room. That's great if you think you can do it. But just go into your notifications and switch them off so you choose. It's not a bad thing to sometimes give your brain a rest if you've been studying and, you know, spend a little bit of time on TikTok. But it's the fact that it keeps calling you. Your text, your Snap, your Insta, they're all calling you. So you need to stop them calling you so you put yourself back in charge. I think if you do that a little bit more, that can stop. I know that that's not the only distraction is your phone, but if you just kind of, it's about you putting yourself back in control, and that can really, really make a difference. So does that sound like something you could do though?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, it's even saying, oh mum, take my phone, like something like that as well, just making sure that it's not flashing in front of you, the screen, and then turning notifications off 100%, because if you just turn your phone over, put it to the side, you're not going to hear the notifications or
it's not going to pop up to you, it's not going to be there for you willing to touch it, it's just going to be away.
You're going to be more focused on the work that's in front of you instead of your phone.
This person just said this. Oh, what did they say? I can't see it. Like, it must be really important. Yeah, I think, you know, I think off the back of this, I think, and I know these, we want to make sure that these are tips that are easy to go. I think for people, and we'll cover this a wee bit more, I think, in the next one, I think that's where you wanted to go, but this idea of having a why. So asking yourself why you're doing the things that you're doing. And that's not always easy, especially maybe for S4s who are going, well, why do I need Nat 5 maths? And they can't see that yet, they can't see that long-term thing. But we're going to do a video on long-term and short-term thinking as well. I think just asking yourself, where is your why? And I think for 4th years, maybe starting to think, where are they going? 5th years again, what's the purpose of this? And then remove your distractions. And it can make a huge difference. If you can find a why and remove the distractions, it can make a huge, huge difference to what you want to do. I hope that sounds helpful.
That sounds something I would use,
Magic.
Well, thanks, Brian, that's great. In the next video, I think we'll be talking about making good decisions and the fear
around motivation.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Well, thanks very much for watching. I'm now looking right at you, right down the camera. That's weird, isn't it? Anyway, we'll see you in the next video when we're going to be covering those subjects that the girls just said, and we're going to get really into the depths of motivation.